let's try again.
I can join your activity.
Is it still working?
Join. No.
Right.
Ooh,
Chat will pop up in a minute and all will be good with the world and everything's going to be shiny and swanky.
It was still working and then it finished.
Come on, chat, connect for me. There we go. We're looking good now. Not crashing this time. So, let's get rolling then. We seem to have enough people. Welcome to Roundtable 93, just about. Where you get to catch up with the WNG team and find out what we've got planned for the coming weeks and what's a quick recap on what we've been doing on the previous week. We're going to do some Q&A after, probably throughout as well, as that's what we do. We did a wonderful job last week from Sean Connery, who kindly did our outro. Thank you very much. And thank you for the kind soul who helped us out on the island earlier. Enjoy your 5k free fed shards. Sometimes he who dares really does win. For all he knew, he could have been testing out death mechanics or base decay. You imagine that? But as it was, we were testing out the new tribe vaults. So thank you for those that helped out and came running for assistance. If you can, give us a follow on YouTube and socials if you've not already. It always helps. And weekly maintenance is not tomorrow at 9 AM as usual. We are going to be forgoing maintenance because it runs over. It's the first and all the subs are running through. So taking the servers down probably isn't a good idea. We've got done most of what we want to do. So maintenance will be, if I am correct, next week at usual time.
Indeed, it will be.
Cool. So obviously there's been a lot going on. So let's jump right into what everybody's here to find out and crack on. So this week, completely polar opposite view to last week. Thank you very much to everybody who got involved on Sunday for the first economy and marketing meeting. And much respect to everyone involved. Thank you all for being very calm, collected, highly respectful to each other. And it was an amazing job. It really was. Elephant has now gone from the room. So let's get back to what we love doing and play some Ark. So following on from that, those who turned up, there were many. Turnout was amazing, actually. And they all made their way to the foot of Mount Ninja. Those that breedeth the dinosaur went up thy mountains and brought forth 10 tablets of marketing. There was 10, and it was so.
Were there 10?
There were 10. There were 10. Don't worry, I got this, don't worry. And I've also reorganized it a little bit.
Them, wasn't it?
I know, but I got this completely, don't worry. It's all good. So, brought forth for 10 tablets of marketing, and it was so. 10 commandments there might be, and 10 tablets containeth those very commandments. And the word was spread, and it was as follows. So rule number 1, commandment number 1, shall we say. Thou shalt prevent the transfer of the domination Rex mutations. That's commandment number 1. Mutations are very unstable, so they wouldn't survive the transfer. This does not include zombie body parts.
Yep.
Now, if anybody was just to come in at this point and wonder what the hell we're going on about, I've got no clue either. But apparently zombie body parts will still be transferable across the arcs. It's just the domination Rex mutations that will be available just to give to your dinosaurs on the event server. And the timer will be increased. So commandment number 2, thou shalt increase the decay timer on thy domination Rex mutations to 1 hour 30 minutes to match the time on the event server. Decaying, if you will, to rotten meat. And DJ's put in brackets, just so everybody knows, this was my addition. So, rotten meat confirmed?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Excellent. Commandment number 3. Again, all this was made by you guys. So, domination Rexes should not be sellable to anyone under 155. So, mote it be. Commandment number 4. By sale of items that are not snippethed, or in our case neutered, thou must expect them to be procreated and then resold, no matter what thou buyest shall saith. So basically, if you are going to sell unneutered dinosaurs, you really do have to take it as read that somebody along the line is going to breed them, and they are going to sell them. So if this is a massive concern for you, then please snippeth your dinosaurs. Point number 5. My minimum sale price on non-mutated dinos is the Emporium price. So if your dinosaurs are not mutated or changed in any way, you can always go by the guide price from the Emporium. Rule number 6, thy Emporium pricing should be visible on thy website. So it's going to be at some point. We'll make sure all the prices are available for you can search for them and find them really, really easily. Because obviously being in-game and being in the Emporium there is a pain in the ass. Commandment number 7. Thy sale price for mutated dinos is base price plus the mutation formula. We'll go over this in a minute if anyone is interested. There was a mutation formula put forward. It was originally suggested, I think, by Nugget, and then it was kind of worked on a little bit by several people last night. And it's pretty cool. Commandment number 8. Thy website shall haveth a sale price calculator for thy convenience. So at some point, DJ has kindly said that we will put some sort of price calculator up there using said formulas and base prices, and we'll see what we can do, basically. No promises yet, but we're looking into it. And to make things really, really easy, because nobody likes maths, we'll see what we can do there. Rule number 9 that was done Sunday evening. There shall be decreed a better way to list and participate in auctions, bidding and listing, at some point in the very near future. So, again, DJ's kindly said we'll have a look into different ways that you can list dinosaurs or that we can promote bidding on auctions and stuff like that and make it a bit more streamlined. And after everything that went on, I have added my 10th and final rule, which is the final and most important commandment of all of them. Everybody must be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. See, I told you we got number 10. So that's what came out of the meeting. Again, massive thank you to everybody who was involved and some people who were involved beforehand, offering up things and coming up with ways that we can all get on and be happy together. So absolutely amazing job. And that's what was listed. Questions so far? Anything to add?
Well, I think we'll just pop those into chat as well so everybody can see what's going on.
Snip and praise from the feedback channel.
Yeah, I think so. Got that.
And while that goes in, I will remind everybody, this is something that everybody came up with themselves, and this was what was all agreed on the night.
So the formula in question, hang on, there's some more questions for that. So Cage says, can go on this or must go on this price. So what we're saying is for minimum pricing for non-mutated dinos, it's got to be at or above the price that it is on the shop in-game. So personally, I would suggest you price a bit higher because you will be selling dinos with specific stats, so people can pick and choose what they buy. So if you happen to have a good roll that's high in damage, then that's might be more valuable to somebody than one that's stacked in oxygen.
Yeah. And I believe for Nugget, he says, I think there was one more but a minor one, that we could ignore some unmutated stats while calculating for pricing. If I remember correctly, we said anything that was under 45 could be charged as clean or set as 0. Is that what we said? I'm fairly sure it was 45.
Yeah, what we'll do, because you can see the mutated levels into it, those are the ones you'll plug into the calculator.
Yeah.
I believe. Let me just double check that on a dano. No, you can't. They all get rolled into one. So yeah, we do need to confirm what the lower limit is, or we just work out the formula so it's cheaper and takes it into account those other levels. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. But yeah.
knew there was going to be some discussion about this, so I'm just going to give people a bit of time to get their comments out and
Yeah.
it's fresh. And you're right, I should have totally changed that to be excellent. Really should. Missed the trick there.
Well, what we can do is we could just go and buy a load of dinos off the shop and see what the average high stat comes out as.
Once we've got a solid ground and stuff like that, we can tweak things and we can talk about it again and all that sort of stuff. But the main thing is to get some solid ground very quickly because people want to get selling again.
Lucky you.
That was one lucky. Yeah, that was a lucky roll. That was.
Yeah, we've got all the proposed formulas that are still present in the chat attached to the ARC channel where we were having the conversation. So I'll post it up once we've plugged it into a calculator for you all. But that's all that we really wanted to get across was this is what came out of that conversation. So those like 10 things were the key points. And then we can work on the detail behind each one as we go. One thing that you also wanted to make very clear is when it comes to trading and giving things away, we're not saying that you have to sell everything. So, somebody does you a good turn and you're kind of like, oh, here you go, mate, have this Rex. That's fine. But what we don't want is, here, everybody on the server, have this Rex. If you like, we want to avoid people just giving stuff away for free for really no reason. It's just like, hey, here, dude, have this, have that, have this, have that. Kind of like there's got to be some sort of economy on the cluster, otherwise it'll just one aspect of it will just fail completely. Well, different weights on different stats. I'm not sure I totally agree with that because people value different stats based on the situation and the dino. So it's like if you don't want to spend the money on that stat, don't buy a dino with that stat. It then creates market because somebody might breed up a dino that's heavily weighted in damage but has 0 oxygen or whatever. I don't know. But that would be more valuable and cheaper than a dino that has oxygen and damage. It's up to it creates a market for the traders to fill. So if one dude's selling like all these dinos that have numbers in every single stat, it's going to be quite expensive. Versus the other guy that specializes and is just selling a dino that's high in one stat, that'll be slightly cheaper and he'll probably corner the market there.
Yeah.
So and weighting different stats, different values also then starts making things overly complex. We looked at how much it costs to raise a dino up to 254 or 255. Divided that into the numbers and out popped the result. So I think after it was a good hour and a half of conversation, getting on to 2, came up with some pretty good stuff. And as we work through each of those 10 points, we'll share our thoughts and processes with everybody, and we can keep feeding into it and just go from there.
Totally.
So there we are. Any more questions on the direction that the trading discussions are going in?
I've got a couple typing.
Per dino. So non-mutated dinos minimum price is the price that is currently on the shop. For mutated dinos, we'll put a calculator up on the website, and you can use that to calculate your minimum price. Now, the idea behind this is that sets a minimum price, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your customers will pay that to you, because once we have auctioning facilities, people will be bidding on dinos that they want. So prices will then go up as well. So the more dinos there are in the marketplace, the cheaper things get, the more niche the marketplace gets. There'll be some quite expensive stuff on there. So we're hoping that will then end up regulating itself. But I think the key here is actually having a proper auctioning facilities that allow people to bid and go after the ones that they want. Because at the moment we just have a static price. One person buys it, it's gone, and everything stays at that price or gets cheaper. There is no room for people that want to make a business out of it to actually increase their profits. Cool. Okay.
Sweet.
Well, I think we'll move on to the next topic, and then if you all think of any questions that you have about trading in the meantime, by all means type it in chat and we'll get to it.
Cool. Okay, so moving on with a bit of ARC stuff. I was going to quickly point out you did speak to Gaz, didn't you, over the auction house mod?
Yes, I did.
That's worth a mention, I suppose.
So there is an option that is available to us. But let me go into some detail first. There is an excellent mod which replicates the World of Warcraft auction house very closely, that we could install, and we have used it in the past. It lets you put things onto an auction house, charges you a small fee for doing so, and then people can bid on your auctions and you have your money delivered to you automatically in your base. It's a very good mod. There's a couple of downsides though. Yeah, it does actually. Thank you, Cara. There's a couple of downsides to it. Gaz, the creator of this amazing mod, has a lot going on at the moment in real life, and the mod hasn't been updated in nearly a year. It doesn't support the latest dinos like the Carcharodontosaurus and other things. They would have to be blocked on it, because if you put them on the auction house, they disappear. Once the auction ends, then you get them back. There's no way for anybody to buy them. And the last bit is, if Gaz ever decides to discontinue it, it's on his server. If he shuts it down or doesn't have the inclination to keep it running, we would lose all the stuff stored on the auction house. Now, I don't see that happening. Gaz is an absolute cracking bloke. And if he was to shut it down, I think he'd give us plenty of notice. So I don't think that is a concern. So we have to make a decision on whether or not we use an in-game auction house or an auction house based on Discord. So some sort of a bot. You would have a channel for listing your auctions, and then people could bid on your things by clicking buttons. However, that means no automatic delivery of your items and no automatic collection of your funds. You'd still have to meet the person in game to do that. However, we would, if we went down the Discord bot route, provide a secure trading functionality in game, which I will quickly drop into the chat for you. I will drop a little video in so you can see how that works.
all ended up so impersonal, didn't it? You didn't know anybody. There was no connection at all.
No, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm just downloading the video, by the way, so I can actually just drop the whole file into it and it'll play it within Discord. So don't click that link.
I still think the dinosaur podium is a good idea. If people are up for the meeting and face to face, and we're not going towards automatic disconnection, then some sort of auction house, I don't know, event would be cool, where you can showcase your stuff. And again, more face to face, more connection with customers and trades and players and everything. It's all good.
Right, it's just uploading that video.
Exactly. Time to get a little bit of RP here.
There you go. So that video that I've just dropped in there, it's like 1 minute 20, 2 people trading between each other.
I don't want to click it myself, but I guess this is some sort of secure command trading type interface, yeah?
Yeah, you type in chat who you want to trade with. So it's /trade, whatever. It spawns 2 vaults in front of you. One's a sending vault, one's a receiving vault. You put the items you want to trade into the vault, and then you hit, you can either do trade lock, which locks in your trade, or trade cancel. And then once you both lock in your trades, the trade is completed. You can't take anything until that's done.
Cool. Yeah, options.
So 2 options available to us. I find that the Discord and trading tool maybe a little clunky. The in-game system would be pretty slick. Pros and cons to both. So have a think about it all, see what you guys think. But no, they're non-collision. You can't. And if you get attacked during a trade, the trade's immediately cancelled. All items are returned, and you carry on doing what you're doing. It's done quite well that way.
Very cool. But there are options, multiple options to go down. And you've got to remember as well, if it's done Discord-wise, there are also logs of everything. So, again, a plus, I think.
We've got trade logs on in-game as well. We can see everything that's happened.
Cool.
So can the buyers and the sellers and stuff. I'm not sure if you can see trends as well in-game, because it's tied to each item. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with the whole mechanic for trading.
Yeah.
If anyone has any suggestions to help or that can, help us create a proper auction house, then let us know.
Okay, moving on a little bit then. Arc specific related stuff. The rollout of tribe storage is to begin. After Tyler's hours of debugging, rebugging, and debugging again, he's finally cracked it. So I believe Tula has started rolling out tribe storage at Valguerrero, I believe she started on. So that's going to happen really, really quickly now. If you want to grab one, go and grab one. If you've got a tribe vault already, there you go, Val and Rag already done. Tula efficiency. So if you've got
the island is done too.
Cool. If you do own an existing tribe vault, really, really appreciate it if you can visit that and move them over, because that means we can clean up a lot faster and move the new system.
So sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
With the new system, we cannot assign tribe vaults to a tribe. You have to come to the trading post and you have to claim one for yourself. At which point we can then put stuff in your vault for you in the event we have to do a recovery or something like that. It's only 1 vault per tribe, but the vaults have
300.
350 slots,
Yeah.
350 slots in. So for a temporary storage solution, it's perfect. Backing up what Nani said, on the island right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tribes who have the old style vaults. You are Alco, Bloody Spartan, Swamp Static, Cheese, Aramacro, Autumn Tribe, Imperator, Demios, I think he's left, Eddie, Vagabonds, and Ashley Barnes. Please get over to the trading post, claim yourself a vault, and move your items over as soon as possible, because a couple of weeks' time, we'll start clearing those up, and stuff that's in them will be lost. You'll notice on the front of your tribe, the new tribe vaults, it will also say last accessed. It stores the time somebody last interacted with the inventory on that vault. So if we have tribe vaults sitting there for months without being accessed, we will just unclaim them and empty them and make them available for a tribe to use again.
The idea being much easier to claim them. You don't have to get tickets involved. You don't have to ask for an admin. Just go and claim yourself one. Use it for whatever you need to use it for. Just keep an eye on your timer that you use it regularly. And a lot more improvement.
Yeah, there's no decay on them. They won't disappear or anything. And the reason it took us a while to roll it out is we just had to make sure they were solid in the way that they worked, because they're storing people's stuff.
Yeah. They're the first of its kind. It's really cool.
So yeah, get over to the trading post, claim your new tribe vaults, and away you go.
Cool.
Sooner the better.
Point number 2 then. The B key functionality has also had a good buggering and debuggering. So that should be now working as intended. I believe that was pushed about an hour ago. So everything related to B functionality and the pickup should now be all good, right?
Yeah, so with the last update to the tribe vaults, we also pushed out a fix for the B button. And for those of you that don't know, we've added a feature to the cluster where it's very similar to the F key for picking up all the stuff around you, except it's got a longer range. If you're on foot, anything within 3 foundations radius will be picked up and put into your inventory. This will work on death caches from dinos and your personal death caches. So it's designed to help when you kill something and you're in a fight and lots of shit's going on, and you haven't got time to wander over to the dino, find the bag, sort through the loot, put it in your inventory and faff around with all that crap. You can just push the B button and it'll pick up all the bags for you. It will not pick up another person's death cache. So it's another person's death cache that's not in your tribe. So it will stop you trying to ninja somebody's corpse. It won't let you do that. It also won't pick up stuff if it's going to encumber you. So it'll do partial pickup. So if there's a ton of stone in a bag or something, it'll pick up the stone out of the bag until the point where you're encumbered, and then it'll stop. The other things it won't pick up are fertilized eggs. So you can't go into somebody's base and hoover up all their eggs.
Yeah.
When you're on a dino, the range is extended. So it's extended out to 9 foundations instead of 3, which is a significant amount. And the items you pick up using the B button will go in your dino's inventory, not yours. So again, if you're fighting at an OSD and you want to collect the dragon claws from their bodies, which decay in about 5 seconds flat, you can now do that. Jump the dino, mash the B button, and you should get the claws. So all very useful functionality. And the bug that we were fixing is it was having an unintended consequence of picking up wild fertilized eggs because they're classified differently. It will no longer do that. So please. No, trying to fly down the woven trench and mash the B button and then wondering why it's not picking up any eggs for you. It's not supposed to.
Well, it takes time to get right. But remember, only at WNG. Don't get this good stuff anywhere else. Now, I've got one final point, but I've just thought of another one, so I'm going to add that in right now. DJ has been talking with Paliori, who's the author of the Raidable Bases plugin. And, well, go ahead. Your story. We have good news.
So he has stamp approved the changes we need to be able to deploy or to be able to release raidable bases for Arc. It was the final piece of the puzzle, which was around the control points that we have set up in the bases that you raid and having to destroy them. So we expect that to be done fairly soon.
Usually quite good on the changes. But
yes,
again,
he's really good.
Our reputation precedes us, and we're getting well known by a few of the big plugin devs. So yeah, really, really, really good news there. So raidable bases soon, hopefully. And the last thing I have on the agenda for today is news from this morning, basically. Other news, Docs wet the bed again this morning. Hogged basically a good half of the RAM on one of the boxes and caused some of its siblings to have mental breakdowns and crash again. We have an idea of what's going on now, and we will be investigating and working on that to see what we can do. We believe the spiders were involved. It's always the spider.
Yeah. Just so you know, I just did test the wild eggs in the woven trench on scorched earth, and they cannot be hoovered by using the B button. So there's also an alpha woven down here. Ah!
I was
and
also
a lightning storm.
About to recall something else as well, and then it's just completely gone. It may return. Exactly that, yes. Horrible, disgusting, nasty, spidery type thing. It really was something that was worth mentioning.
Hell. Sorry, while we're all here, somebody has a base on scorched earth.
Please stop with the spiders.
They're a tier 1 supporter, and the tribe is called Not a Cult. It's on scorched earth, just near the Wyvern Trench. It seems to be constructed of a metric ton of stackable foundations. Please uncreate that monstrosity.
I'm racking my brains to try and figure out what I was just about to say, and it has completely. It was something relevant.
I think I can see why it's been starting to be constructed the way it is, but damn, use pillars.
Yeah.
Stacking foundations is useful in some situations, but is extremely bad for server performance. So if you build solid cubes of stacked foundations, it's not good.
It's worth a mention again. Why is stacking huge amounts of foundations a bad thing?
Well, foundations have many snap points on them because you've got 4 sides on the top, 4 sides on the bottom, and then they have to snap left to right, back to front, up and down. 4 edges. So it's kind of like, they're as a structure, they have the most snap points in the game. And when you look at a base, it works out how the base is built by looking at all the snap points on all of the blocks and seeing what's connected to them. A pillar has 2 snap points, top and bottom. So yeah, pillar, ceiling on top, job done. And then if you do need a solid structure under your base, just wall the sides in. But stacking up foundations in large carpets is not a good thing.
I have just remembered what I was about to point out. It's just come to me like a blinding flash. I was
Oh,
about
yeah.
to point out that one of our tweets again got noticed by Cedric, commented on the other day, which is
Oh, yeah.
really cool. Yeah, one of John's cool tweet posts got noticed by Cedric and replied to. Cedric would be the community manager for Wildcard. So again, that's really cool, and thank you to John for his continued work.
And thank you to all the people on the server that build the cool things that we post.
Yes.
Because it's your creativity that gets us noticed. When you build a cool base and you show it off in Arc Media or any of the other media channels, we will share that with as many people as possible so they can see what you've done. And, sufficiently good, it can occasionally make it onto the Community Crunch as well. We've had a few in there. Not so many in recent times, but we've had a few in there in the past. Good half a dozen, I think, possibly more. And it's just a testament to the creativity of the people on the cluster.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, there is a third purple ninja who you don't see very much. His name is John. You may also have noticed him being called Eventuating or even the Chili Man. And he does basically all our tweets, Facebook posts, he advertises the servers, and part of his job and part of what he enjoys doing is sneaking around all of your bases. So one night he goes around, he has a look at all the bases on different maps, he's really quite efficient. He scopes out Conan, he scopes Rust, he scopes Ark, and he sneaks into people's bases late at night in ghost mode, and he takes some cool photos of the best bases on the server. And as DJ pointed out, those bases do get noticed. They do end up actually seen by employees from Wildcard. So more incentive to build the cool bases. Johnny Man will find you one day. If you haven't checked the Twitter out, you can see all the stuff he posts, and you might even see your own base featured. I think we've probably got a lot of people who don't realise they've actually been Chili Man. So yeah, keep up the good building work. It's cool. Moving on, as time is rolling now, I'll quickly go over, because it's wipe day for Rust, so I'm quickly going over some of that, and then we'll go over some Conan stuff as well. We've got some stuff to add with that this week. So wipe day is this Thursday for Rust. Servers are going to go down Thursday morning for maintenance. That's Rust only. And we'll return the very second our overlords at face points drop the patch. That's plan 1 anyway. Plan 2 is basically the above, but they drop the patch, they introduce all the cool new stuff they're going to add this month, and everything breaks. If in that case, the server will be available as soon as I grow a few more hairs to pull out. It happened last month, but we got it up within, I think it was about 10 to 15 minutes to work out what was going on. So this week, live from about 7 p.m. on Thursday, aside from any unintended technical issues, we present to you our new map, which is going to be based off the movie Kong, Skull Island. It's a primal lost land containing a bunch of really angry guys wearing tiki outfits and a giant, really mad monkey. Surprise, surprise. Making an appearance this month are going to be the following events for those who have been playing. We've got the Power Plant event coming, Junkyard event, the Satellite Dish event. The A Train is making a return. This is a giant armoured train with a bunch of mildly aggressive terrorists on board who proceed to sort of careen around the map at high speed, taking pot shots at people. So this is a slightly less speedy train. The loot has been massively improved, spent hours on that. Check out the A-Train this return. There is the introduction of a new meteor event, where meteors will shower from the sky once every few hours. They congregate around the centre of the map, and I guarantee you're going to want to visit those. So that's going to create some tensions mid-map. And the return of the all-new raidable bases. All created by hand, improved loot pools, working lighting, working SAM towers, and NPCs on all rugs. Rugs are now a thing. Thank you very much to Scorp, who created basically 2 bases of every difficult, so 6 in total, in just under a week. Immensely cool. So check out the new raidable bases. Again, all new loot in those are absolutely going to be worth the boom invested to get stuff out of those. We are going to be introducing some new mechanics as well this wipe. So this time, when you die, And I'll point out right now, this is not including suicide. If you suicide, you will drop your stuff. When you die, you will respawn with only your hotbar intact. Now, this is a bit of a change. Yes, it's going to be hotbar, your bags will drop and will be lootable. The difference here is no more looking around for the little brown box of goodies where your gear resides. No long trek home to the bandit camp. No, where's the box? Has it spawned? Has it not? Crap, need to go half the map to get my stuff back. You get all of your stuff back immediately on spawn, direct to your toolbar. Elaborating on that, you will be dropping 100% of both your backpacks. That's both backpacks, the one that's the normal Rust one and the extended one we added last wipe. Those both will drop everything and all of your clothing. NPCs have finally finished their boot camp. So all non-snipers and shotgunners, before people wig out, not the snipers and not the shotgunners, they're badass enough. They've had the week off. They're now 20% more accurate. It's not a lot, but they are going to be a little bit more accurate. The stormtroopers have been in training. A lot of work went into this one, and I think after this wipe, it's safe to say we're in a position to go for a full launch with Rust. Thank you to all who've been testing and giving us feedback. Enjoy the wipe.
I think it's going to be cool.
It is going to be so cool. Giant Monkey is amazingly cool. And then for some Conan news, we haven't had any of this for ages, so Conan deserves some love, and I know people have been asking. So now most of the config for Rust has got out of the way. We did finally manage to get into the server today, so it looks like Funcom have finally sorted things out. We'll be putting a new mod list on our development server. We have one for Rust, we have one for Conan, and we have a test server for Ark. So there's going to be a whole new mod list put onto the development server this weekend. So Tilda and Chris can sculpt it like putty, work their magic. And then once we're happy with what works, what doesn't, we'll have a chat at a future roundtable as to how this pans out, get some more feedback from the player base before we make massive changes. Fair warning though, going forward, if we do embark on a massive rework of Conan, there will very likely be a wipe. Some of the mods that have been suggested are total overhauls. Some of them just won't play well with a current save and would require one, so we will give fair warning beforehand. If we do the massive overhaul that people have been asking for, there is a very high probability of a wipe, but I think most people are aware of that anyway. So let's hear some support from the Conan guys in the feedback channels. Input is greatly valued, as always. It's exactly the same process that the Rust server's going through. Let's hear some voices, hear what you want to have. There's already been loads of mod suggestions, and we'll feedback as much as we can over the next few days, and we'll get somewhere with Conan finally. And finally, we would like to thank you all for being you. We are, as always, humbled by the support we get, and it really does mean a lot that we're able to continue to grow the cluster, our library of games. Yes, 7 days is coming, don't worry. New video in the 7 days channel for that, by the way. It's really cool. And we continue to create and grow the great community that you all enjoy being a part of. Does anybody have any questions? Any burning things that anyone needs to know before we hand off to our guest speaker, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, tonight? I don't know if anybody was here last week, but we had Sean Connery guest speaking. We're becoming a little bit of a, we're getting noticed now, and the A-listers are queuing.
Really?
Oh yeah, totally. Queuing up. They are.
I've
turned down Ryan Reynolds already this week. We don't want no part of his stuff. A-lister as far as we're concerned now. Any more questions before we sign off for the night? I see one person typing, so...
Can we get Will Smith?
We're working on it. We're not too sure about the controversy at the moment, but we're working on Will. Might need a job by the time it's all finished. Is there a future in which we can trade? Plus prod for effective.
Essences can't be made or summoned into the game.
We want Will Smith as a full-on purple ninja, do we? That's what I was worried about, you see. Is it too soon? Is it too soon for the will? There's a point though. Thor might have to step back from being the band slap. It might have to be Will. Point two. Yeah, as long as we don't shit talk about his wife, we're all good. Awesome. In that case, I'm joking that we don't have Dwayne The Rock Johnson this week. He was busy. But seriously, if anybody wants a crack at next week's roundtable or has any good impressions, let's hear from you. And as usual, we have been the Wicked Ninjas, and you have all been exceptionally awesome this week. Thank you and good night.